The dividend trap. Why most investors stay per look at your feed. The gurus are selling you a dream of passive income, a life of freedom, paid for by your dividend checks. They show you charts of dividend aristocrats, and they promise a life where you do nothing and get paid forever. It feels so simple, so safe, but they're selling you a trap. You're about to discover how the very thing they promise will set you free is designed to keep you poor. This is not about hating dividends. This is about understanding the psychological trap they represent. The real education is about to begin. 1. The trap of income over value. A Munger-inspired diagnosis. The guru's first weapon is to focus your mind on a single, misleading metric, income. They train you to look for the highest dividend yield, the most frequent payment, the most predictable cash flow. Munger would call this a fundamental, dangerous error of diagnosis. It is a psychological trap that blinds you to the only thing that truly matters, the intrinsic value of the business itself. You are so fixated on the tiny stream of cash flowing out of the business that you fail to notice the business itself is slowly and irreversibly eroding from the inside out. The guru's promise of steady income makes you feel safe, but it's a false sense of security. You buy a legacy business, perhaps a big tobacco company or a dinosaur of the energy sector, that is in a slow, irreversible decline. Its high dividend is a last-ditch effort to keep shareholders invested while it bleeds cash and its products become obsolete. The dividend is a sugar cube, and the decaying business is the rest of the poisoned meal. Munger's core wisdom is this: a company can pay you a dividend that keeps your bank account full, but if the business's value is shrinking, you are getting poorer with every check. The guru sells you a life of passive income, but the real winner is a person who is a master of their own mind. Tip: before you buy a stock for its dividend, go on a scavenger hunt. Ask, would I buy this business if it paid a 0% dividend? Does it have a sustainable competitive advantage? Is it truly a great business for the next 20 years? 2. The hidden dividend, the genius of reinvestment. The gurus love to show you a dividend check hitting your account. It's tangible, it's emotional, but Munger would argue that the best dividend is the one you never see. It is the one the company keeps. It is the hidden dividend. He would explain that a great business, led by a rational and brilliant management team, will take every dollar it earns and reinvest it back into itself because it can earn a higher return on that capital than you can in the stock market. This is not a passive process. It is an active, brilliant form of value creation. Instead of giving you a small cash payment that you will likely spend, the company is compounding your wealth for you by expanding its factories, developing new products, or acquiring other great businesses. The guru wants you to believe that a life of getting paid is a life of freedom, but the real winner is a person who understands that the greatest dividends are the ones that are reinvested, not distributed. He'd use the powerful cinematic analogy of a master farmer who is growing a rare fruit tree. The amateur farmer cuts a small piece of fruit from the tree every single day and eats it, satisfied with his daily income. The master farmer, however, takes all of the fruit and plants 100 new seeds. In a few years, the amateur has a handful of fruit, but the master has a thriving orchard of 1,000 trees, a fortress of wealth that is compounding every single day. Tip: don't just analyze a company's dividend yield. Analyze its return on retained earnings. Is the company a master at reinvesting its money to create more value for you? 3. The dividend explained, the siren's song and the dopamine hit. So, what exactly is a dividend? And why is it so seductive? The guru knows something about your brain that you don't. They know it's wired for immediate gratification, for a small, consistent reward. This is the dopamine hit of the dividend check. It's not just a payment. It's an emotional reward that makes you feel smart and secure, reinforcing your decision to buy the stock. The gurus have designed a system to give you small, frequent rewards to keep you from ever questioning their advice. This illusion is the siren's song of passive income. A dividend is a small piece of a company's profit that is paid out to its shareholders. The gurus will tell you it's a direct, simple path to passive income, a beautiful song that promises a life of ease. But Munger would say that this song hides a dangerous truth. A dividend is not a gift. It's a capital allocation decision, a choice that a company's management makes with your money. A business has three primary choices for the money it earns. 1. Pay a dividend. Give the money back to the shareholders. 2. Buy back its own stock. Use the money to reduce the number of shares on the market, increasing the value of each remaining share. 3. Reinvest in the business. Use the money to expand, build new factories, innovate, or acquire other great companies. The trap is that the most rational decision for a great high-growth business is almost never to pay a dividend. It's to reinvest that money back into itself, compounding its value for you exponentially over time. A company that pays a high dividend is often a company that has run out of good ideas, a mature, slow-growth business that can no longer find a high-return use for its capital. The dividend is a signal that the business itself may be in decline, and you are being paid a small fee to watch it happen. Tip: be suspicious of any financial strategy that relies on frequent, small, emotional rewards. True wealth is built on long-term, rational decisions, not on quarterly dopamine hits. 4. The dividend hunter vs. the business owner. The Great Divide. They are focused on the long-term success of the business. Munger would use the powerful cinematic analogy of a person who is in a garden. The hunter is running from plant to plant, picking the most visible fruit, never staying in one place long enough to tend to the root system. The owner, however, plants a few great trees and spends their time nurturing them, pruning them, and making sure they grow strong. The guru sells you a path to wealth, but the real winner is a person who is a master of their own fear, who understands that true wealth is built on being a partner, not a hunter. The guru wants you to be a dividend hunter. They want you to chase the highest yield, the latest trend, the most popular stock. Munger would say that this is a powerful and dangerous psychological trap. He would say that a true winner is a business owner. The hunter is obsessed with the transaction the moment the dividend hits their account. Their mind is focused on the next quarterly payment, the next trade, the next high-yield stock. They see stocks as mere symbols on a screen, detached from the reality of the business. The business owner, however, sees themselves as a partner. They ask, what is this business doing with its capital? Is management smart and ethical? What is the long-term vision? They are not focused on the next dividend check. Tip: before you buy a stock, visualize yourself as a part owner of the company. Would you attend the board meetings? Do you trust the CEO? If not, why are you buying a share? 5. The folly of the next check. The recency bias trap. Gurus love to show you the consistent, predictable dividend stream. They show you a chart that goes up and to the right, lulling you into a false sense of security. This exploits a powerful Munger principle, recency bias. You overweight the good feeling of the last dividend check and project that success infinitely into the future, ignoring all the hidden risks. Imagine a detailed story of an investor named Sarah. For years, she gets a dividend from a major oil company. Every quarter, the check arrives, perfectly on time. It's a small, consistent dopamine hit. She feels financially secure, proud of her passive income, but the world is changing. The company's core business is slowly eroding as the world shifts to renewable energy. Because she is so focused on the recent, positive feeling of the check, she ignores the red flags: declining cash flow, rising debt, and a weakening competitive position. The small recurring check blinds her to the inevitable, large loss in the value of the principal. Munger would say that a mind fixated on the next check is a mind that is blind to the future, a mind that is so focused on the small, tangible reward that it fails to see the looming, catastrophic loss. Tip: train yourself to look beyond the last dividend payment. Scrutinize the long-term trends of the company and its industry. Is the business model actually sustainable? Don't let a small, consistent reward distract you from a major long-term risk. 6. The psychological pain of opportunity cost, the silent killer. The guru sells you on the visible gain, the dividend check, and completely ignores the invisible cost. Munger would call this opportunity cost, the single most important concept in investing. By committing your capital to a slow-growing, high-dividend stock, you are silently losing out on the chance to invest in a truly great business that could compound your wealth at a much higher rate. Let's create a side-by-side comparison. On one screen, we have David, a dividend hunter, who buys a utility company for its 6% dividend. It's safe, predictable. On the other screen, we have Emily, a Munger disciple, who invests in a high-quality tech company that pays no dividend. Over 10 years, David receives his steady, predictable income, which he spends. He makes a total of $6,000 in dividends on a $10,000 investment. Meanwhile, Emily's company, by reinvesting its earnings, grows its value by 10x. Her $10,000 investment is now worth $100,000. David got his income, but he missed out on the true wealth creation. The dividend was not a gain. It was a distraction from a much larger, more powerful form of wealth creation. Tip: when you consider a dividend stock, perform this thought experiment. What is the single best company you could buy with that same money that pays no dividend? Compare the potential total return over a decade. This simple exercise will open your eyes to the silent killer of opportunity cost. 7. The myth of predictable income, the risk miscalculation. The guru's favorite phrase is predictable income. They build an illusion of security around the dividend payment. Munger would say that a rational mind understands that no income is truly predictable. Dividends can be and are cut. This is a painful lesson for investors who rely on them for living expenses. Let's tell a dramatic story about a retiree. He's been living off the dividend income from a giant, too-big-to-fail bank for years. He feels secure, telling his friends he has a bulletproof income stream. Then, a financial crisis hits. The bank, under pressure from regulators, announces it will slash its dividend to zero. The man's income stream, his life raft, is gone in an instant. He's left with a fraction of his expected income and a portfolio that has been cut in half. The illusion of safety shatters. He realizes he wasn't receiving a predictable income. He was receiving a check that was a hostage to the company's financial health. He learns too late that the most stable dividend is the one that is never paid. Tip: always assume a company's dividend could be cut tomorrow. Do not rely on dividends for your living expenses unless you have a margin of safety and a diversified portfolio of truly great businesses. The only predictable income is the one you earn from a business you deeply understand and that has a wide competitive moat. 8. The guru's incentive cost bias. Why do gurus sell the dividend trap? Munger would say it's because of incentive cost bias. Their business model is not based on your long-term success. It's based on their ability to attract a large following and sell their courses, newsletters, and products. It's much easier to sell a strategy based on a tangible, visible, and frequent reward, the dividend check, than a strategy based on patience, hard work, and intellectual honesty. A guru can promise you a check every quarter. They can't promise you the mental fortitude to analyze a business for years without a reward. Their incentive is to sell you something that feels good now, even if it leads to poor long-term results. They know that a predictable, quarterly payment is a powerful marketing tool that keeps customers coming back. They get rich by selling the illusion of a free money dividend. Tip: be skeptical of anyone who promises you a simple, easy path to wealth. Their incentives are not aligned with your long-term financial success. Look for a teacher who is more interested in your education than in your quarterly portfolio updates. 9. The psychological dividend, the real reward. The gurus love to show you a dividend check, but Munger would argue that the greatest dividend is not a check. It's the peace of mind that comes from owning a few truly great businesses. The psychological reward is not a tiny cash payment, but the confidence and clarity that come from knowing you own a fortress, not a trap. Imagine the feeling of not worrying about daily market fluctuations because you know that you own a high-quality business that is compounding its value for you every single day. The dividend hunter is constantly checking their portfolio, worried about the next payment, fretting over every market dip. The Munger disciple, however, sleeps soundly, confident that their businesses are working for them, compounding their wealth behind the scenes. That is the real dividend, the peace of mind that comes from being an owner, not a collector. Tip: measure your success not by the size of your dividend checks, but by the peace of mind you feel from the quality of your businesses. The less you have to check your portfolio, the more successful you are. 10. The final choice: the owner's mind. This is the final choice you have to make. Are you going to be a dividend hunter who is just collecting checks from 100 different businesses? Or are you going to be an owner who sees themselves as a partner in a valuable enterprise? The owner is not a hunter of yields. They are a partner in a great enterprise. They are not focused on the next dividend check. They are focused on the long-term success of the business. The owner knows that true wealth is not an income stream. It is a fortress of intellectual strength. The owner understands that freedom is not about being paid to do nothing. It is about having the mental fortitude to make rational decisions, to choose quality over quantity, and to build something that lasts. The dividend trap promises a life of ease, but without the Munger mindset, it is nothing more than a cage of your own design. The choice is yours, and just like that, the conversation is over. The wisdom he shared is now yours. This isn't just a list of ideas. It's a blueprint for a mind of steel. It's a system designed to help you avoid the pitfalls that lead to mediocrity and failure. It's a way to become the master of your own mind, to build a fortress of intellectual strength that no one can breach. It's a life of profound wisdom, clarity, and success. But the blueprint is worthless unless you become its architect. This is not a passive experience. This is a choice, a single life-altering choice you must make now. If this conversation gave you a glimpse of the mental clarity you've been searching for, there's only one thing to do. Smash that like button right now. This isn't just a click. It's a physical act of rebellion against the gurus. It's your first step toward becoming the person you are meant to be. And if you are truly serious about forging a mind of steel and building a life of profound wisdom, then subscribe immediately. This is your one-way ticket to a new mindset. It's a permanent decision to join the 1% who choose to think differently. Your life will never be the same. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Leave a comment below and tell me, what is the one guru's advice you are completely ignoring starting today? The next move is yours.